Oh, that fresh air. Let's have a look at today. Are we outnumbered? Of course we are. We've always been outnumbered. Because men are weak. And so are women. We're simple-minded, easily swayed, easily subjugated. Simpletons. There are too many people on this earth. Too many people that have a price for the things and the people that are precious to them. What do I mean by that? You need to know this. You have family members, and you might not want to believe it, but you have family members and friends that would take money over you. You do. It might not be mom or dad. It might be. I don't know. But you have them. You do. There are mothers and fathers out there that if a man opened up the door and said, I will give you $10 billion if you give me your kid, there are parents that would take that $10 billion. If a man did that to me, I would burn him on top of that pile of money. You can take your money back and go with it. This is what happened to us. This is what happened to our beliefs and our way of life. It was traded. It was forfeited by men who lusted for power and for control. I have often been asked by friends of mine if the Marvel Thor offends me. And I used to say no. But then I got to thinking about it. I've been really contemplating about this lately. There is this sophisticated, tactful strategy that undermines the legitimacy of our faith and our beliefs through the creation of these Marvel characters, of these God of War games. They do this because who would worship a comic book character as a god? It's just a video game. It's just a fairy tale. After all, Jesus isn't a major character in a comic book or an action show. Yahweh isn't the protagonist of a video game. Not any video game I've ever heard of. It would probably be a really fucking boring one to play, though, in the defense of video game creators. And the helm of all, that symbol that I tell you guys about, that was created. I know I said I wasn't going to repeat myself, but it's relevant to this video. That was created by literal Christian Icelandic occultists that used it as a summoning symbol for what they called our god, Woden's, the Dagda, whatever you want to call him, used it as a summoning symbol to summon the demon, Woden's. The creators of this symbol literally calls our god a demon. And yet, in the neo-pagan movement, in the modern pagan, unorganized, unstructured, movement that we have, that symbol has become the reigning predominant symbol amongst these so-called young pagans. And I don't think there's any coincidence to this. I think there's no coincidence to this at all. If I were a wicked pagan and I wanted the destruction of all history, all stories, as much as anything and everything to do with Christianity as I could, and somehow some Christians further down, years and years later, managed to recover some of the knowledge of this religion. Don't you think that a wicked man would try to convince them that the upside down cross was a holy symbol associated with their beliefs, or the 666 or something like that, just to make a mockery of them? Yeah, it's like casting out a line. Here, come and get it. Oh, you're so close. Oh, it's right there. No, they're pacifying us. They've always done it. They've pacified us with things and stories that are similar to our ancestral and traditional stories and upbringings and culture and stuff like that, like Marvel. Because every young man and woman of European descent or otherwise feels the connection with their ancestral gods. And these Marvel characters, superheroes, Star Wars characters, they're just neutered archetypes to just fill that gap, like political parties do for the tribalists, to fill that gap, that empty hole. Allow me to explain to you what it means to serve the old ones, to know them. Nothing that you would ever understand, or that I would ever understand, because they cannot be understood, because we're flesh, blood, and bone, and they are something else entirely different, something which cannot be comprehended. We have a lot of hubris. We think we're intelligent creatures. We're not. We aren't. We're predictable creatures. The gods, they just want you to live. And they want you to learn. And they want you to gain wisdom. The old stories that we had about them in ages gone were just simple interpretations for simpler people of simpler times to better understand. We'll never truly understand. And that's okay. We don't have to. We aren't supposed to. But I know this. You were not born to be a slave. You were not born to feel grief for existing. You weren't born in sin. You weren't born to cow down. And you certainly weren't born to forget about where you came from or who your ancestors were. If you are European, know my gods. If you are East Asian, know your gods. If you are West Asian, know your gods. If you are Central or Sub-Saharan African, know your gods. If you are South American or North American, know your gods. Because those gods, the gods of the wild days, they are the same gods, but with different names. They have been trying to illegitimize our sacred beliefs for hundreds and thousands of years, and only one branch of those ancient beliefs have survived in India. The caste of holy men in India, the Brahmin, they are the modern day Druids, the men of the oak. They're the only ones that were able to survive monotheism. And that's why India is so important to me. Because their language, Sanskrit, comes from the same people that our ancient ancestors came from, or part of them. They're the only ones that defied it. We didn't. So what do? Belittle us for wanting to know more about ourselves. Stay a slave. Or don't. Your choice.